for the purpose of encouraging and offering support and help to the various, inmates in the institution and stuff like that. So in that role, he functioned in that particular capacity within the prison system. So he was, and that's what was impressive about Ben, because he always worked toward helping the other inmates while he was inside the prison system. And and of course, that hasn't changed now since he's gotten out. He's connected with a group called the Dirty Dozen. And they go around, they speak to various groups of youth and stuff like that in various settings concerning the prison system. There was one time out there when we used to I used to bring in groups of youth for tours of the prison system, and Ben was involved in that as well. Leading them through. He was at one point he used to go over to the high side with us, the high security side of the prison system, as we take the youth through, and then we would bring them back into the visiting gallery, and then we'd have conversation with them. Myself, Ben, and some of the other inmates out there, they would have a conversation with the youth in terms of trying to deter them from coming into the prison system. But just to shift gears for a little bit, Dr. Haney, and refer back to your opening question, was that there are so many challenges that after having spent 22 years in prison, getting out into a whole brand new world, and not only that, but having knowledge and information about different things, being qualified to do different things, but yet having to run into that closed door that's always there, man, for people coming out of the prison system back into society. There's an undercast that's being created and being perpetuated in society, and unfortunately, people like myself, Mr. Mathis, and numerous other people coming out of the prison system are having to face this situation and deal with it. In terms of trying to get some employment,
housing,
all of that. And I was thinking about something, Dr. Hand. If an individual, say in Mr. Mathis' case, he's convicted for murder. He's gone in and he served 22 years in prison. Parole board saw fit to let him out. And then you go to a place and you try to get a job or something like that. And then they don't want to hire you because of a felony conviction. And that conviction is for murder. Okay, well, I could understand maybe, it may be a flag if you went in and you stole a bunch of stuff, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to hire a person, but it ain't like he's gonna come in there and just kill up a bunch of people, And this is a situation, a sad situation that occurred in his life, that he had alluded to himself, he wished it had not have happened. And it's not like, he just intentionally, going around killing people.
Folks,
that's not the situation.
Well, Ben, what would you say to young people? Because, especially our youth, we're having so many problems in terms of gang violence, gun violence, and et cetera, et cetera. What could you say to them in reference to trying to deter some of their activities?
Well, Dr. It's like Pastor Walker said, I'm involved with the Dirty Dozen, and we go out to different schools and churches and stuff. We talk to the youth all the time, and that's one of my ways of giving back by being with these children. And what I tell them all the time is to listen to your parents, because they're not going to lead you wrong. Listen to your school teachers, because they got their education. They're trying to help you get yours, and make good choices. Because if you don't make good choices, bad things happen, because I'm a living witness to that. I made a bad choice,
and so you use your life as an example of what not to do, and how you could get caught up on such by chance in a real.
And so I'm saying, it's so easy to get caught up. It's real easy, and that's why I try to talk to these children. We talk to them from 8 years old up to 17 years old. So we want to reach them while they're young, because once they get 13, 14 years old, it's hard to reach them. But we're trying to reach them at this 8, 9, 10-year-old range. And you got some of them, they hard-headed right now. And I look at the students in these schools, and I understand why these teachers are afraid. Because even the little kids are rebellious against the teachers. Because I had to tell one the other day, I said, look, son, you're not going to disrespect us. You come up and you sit down in front of me. Because you're not going to disrespect us. We taking out our time to come out here to try to help you, and you're going to sit up and disrespect us. We're not going to allow that. I said, I don't know what kind of training you get at home, but you finna get some discipline here today. And that's what we try to do. And I go to churches and I speak to you know, they ask me to give a testimony, and I speak and give my testimony, and mainly talk to the children. That's my main thing, is talk to those kids, because they are our future. Because without the kids, we gonna be nothing. We got to have. And like I tell them, y'all can be anything you want to be.
Good.
You can be anything you want to be. All you got to do is strive and study.
Educational opportunities are out there.
It's right there for you. All you got to do is go get it. You know, and I talk to kids all the time. That's all I can say. Dr. Hannon, and pray that I save some of them. I know we might not save them all, but pray that we save some of them.
And Pastor Walker, you've been in the road a long time here. What would you summarize as the best way to try to deal with the situations that we find ourselves in with all these young people killing one another and being incarcerated and et cetera? What are some of your thoughts in that direction? You
know, I was was in a meeting, and a young lady was there, and what she was saying, Dr. Haney was there. She said, you all's generation failed us, failed our generation. And it made a lot of sense, because Dr. Haney, it's almost like we got what we were looking for, and we kept the information to ourselves. We didn't share it. There was no longer any real sincere caring and concern to the degree that would cause us to come out of our comfort zones and go into those areas and places, and in some cases make the sacrifice to educate, encourage, and empower and equip our youth so they can deal with some of these challenges that they're facing, because it's happening. And I think the church has a major role to play in it. And people say, well, yeah, church can't do everything, but the church can do a lot of things that the church is not doing. You know what I'm saying? And that's a serious issue right there. We're so focused on coming to church and having a worship service and having a good time, and then going home into our own little cubby holes, and then we're content. I call it being salvation satisfied. I got mine, you know, and I'm satisfied. And that's not good enough, Dr. Haney. There's got to be a major push, because a lot of our morality, the things that we learn, good behaviors and good virtues and things, they have always come from and through the church. But when the church is failing to do that, then you got a problem out here. And I'm not just saying the church is the problem. I'm saying the church is a part of the problem when it should not be. We should be a bigger part of the solution, along with, you know, good parenting and stuff like that. But when you think about young people having kids that have not been parented themselves, then what can they do for the kids? So if somebody else has to take that role, assume their responsibility of not only helping those children, but to help the parents of those children to understand how to parent those children.
And so in real sense, I think we get back to the final thing, and that it's almost a community responsibility. It's not one entity, a church, or one parents, or whatever. It's all of us. We have to work together. That's the only way that we can solve this problem.
I mean, as a pastor, if I see somebody in my church that got children and can't parent those children, then I've got to do something. I've got to do something.
And of course, let me thank you and Mr. Mathis for coming by and giving us that excellent information. And let me encourage our audience to tune in again next week for another informative edition of Comments. Thank you and good morning.